No training partner? No problem. You can improve your Aikido alone if you focus on the right things. You can't expect to improve it as much as if you were training with a partner, but you can improve. Let's dive in. So most people think that you can't improve your Aikido if you're just training alone, and I thought that too. And then we had a global pandemic. My dojo was shut down for 15 months. A lot of dojos were shut down permanently. Anyway, so many people jumped on Zoom. Maybe you were one of them. And I was shocked. I was really shocked. I always made fun of people who said, oh, I've been studying, Yamaguchi Sensei's videos or something. I was like, well, great, study them, but train. You're not going to make any improvement whatsoever just watching them. It's not quite right. So first of all, before we go further into this video, I want to let everybody know that very soon I'll be having Thomas Kristaller Sensei on as an interview. And he's a retired AI professor, so he can tell you the science behind how it works. I will tell you what I've learned in my experience and also what I've learned talking with Thomas Sensei. He can tell you how the neurons work, how they fire, and why solo training can actually be beneficial. So, depending on how you approach it, it can be worthless or it can be beneficial. So again, let's dive in. So to bust this myth about that you can't train Aikido alone or you can't progress in Aikido by not having a training partner, of course that is the best. Of course it's best to have your training partner. But the shock that I had when we were flung into this lockdown in 2020 was that I was fortunate enough to be able to train online with one of my senpai from Japan. And he went into some details that had never occurred to me in my then 35 years of Aikido training. And so I was able to slow things down. I always moved in front of my camera when we were on Zoom. I never sat and watched. I was always mobile. Either I was, 99% of the time I was standing up, moving around in my living room with imaginary attackers and everything. So maybe some of you did that as well. In this way, the neurons get fired, the correct neurons that you need for these movements. There are 3 pillars of effective solo training. So there's the body awareness, loosening the shoulders, finding your center. And what I did, by the way, during COVID was I bought a projector and a projector screen. So I was able to see myself on the big screen. So I would catch myself rounding my shoulders forward, and then I would correct that and keep moving. So body awareness is really, really important. We don't want to reinforce any negative habits, of course. When we have a partner, we get immediate feedback by, oh, suddenly our partner doesn't move. Let's check, are my shoulders tight? Am I hunched forward? So then we correct ourselves with that. But it would be easy enough for us to fool ourselves moving around in our living room with no attacker. We could fool ourselves that like, oh wow, my Shihonage is great. But take a look, stand in front of a mirror or whatever. Have some awareness. Also, the timing and the footwork. So the timing was really tricky during COVID, wasn't it? Because there was delay depending on the quality connection, internet connection you had. But the footwork, I was actually really blown away during COVID by... Hey, sorry to interrupt the video, but some of you have been asking how you can get a copy of my book, The Teacher. The book includes topics such as from horse riding to Budo, the Japan experience, back home, building intuition, attracting new students to Aikido, nonviolence in Aikido, leading by example, women in Aikido, arrogance, no to homogenization in Aikido, Aikido and distance teaching, body alignment, more. If you haven't yet purchased it and you'd like to, just head to leah-suzuki.com/book, or you can find that link in the description here on YouTube. The book is available in English and Italian. If you want it in Italian, you've got to go to Amazon. There's plenty of really cool photos. There's me when I first started Aikido, even before I got to Boston, which is where my first teacher is. Also Takeda Shihan, Bill Gleason Sensei, my first teacher. And for those of you who might know him, Gary Small Sensei, taking ukemi long ago. Another of Takeda Shihan, Yamaguchi Sensei. All right. We've got a couple of me teaching seminars, of course. And then even one with me with explaining something with shoto. This is in the no to homogenization section. As I said, the link is in the description below. Just click on that, go to leah-suzuki.com/book and order yours. Let's get back to the video now. How much detail I could add to my awareness of my own footwork. And I couldn't wait to get back to the dojo and try this stuff out. So I really did have a lot of breakthrough. I was exhausted, by the way. Training on Zoom really, to me, felt very draining. But wow, I was shocked at the benefits I got. Again, don't stop going to your in-person dojo. That's the best. That is the best. But if you don't have a dojo to go to, or if you're sick and you don't want to get everybody else sick, see if your teacher will rev up the Zoom for you, or if not, sit in front of YouTube to a respected teacher and try moving with them. Standing up is the best. Replicate their movements while you're standing. Thomas Sensei will tell you more about this in our upcoming interview, but for now, suffice it to say, if you can't stand up, let's say you're like sneaking a YouTube video during, I don't know, while you're at work or something. You can just, if you see this shoulder coming back on the person demonstrating, then just sitting in your chair, you can move the shoulder back. Or the arm is going way up like this, you can move your arm just ever so slightly that the people you're with don't notice it. But some movement is what you need. If you just watch and you don't move a muscle, you're not going to get any benefit from that. The most benefit you'll get is like, oh, that's a cool idea. I'll try that the next time I go to the dojo. And then you get some benefit from trying it. But if you want benefit just sitting in your chair, you can fire these neurons just sitting in a chair with even small movements. Again, more on that when we have Thomas Sensei on the show and I interview him. Also, to get value from solo training, either with a video or without for that matter, come to think of it, is what we talked about in a recent video, zanshin, intent and zanshin. So you can project awareness and mindfulness through movement even when you're alone, and actually maybe it's even easier. Then of course it's a great challenge to practice mindfulness while you're training with a partner, and the more challenging that partner is, the better practice it is to practice zanshin while you're moving. Let's think of some solo drills that actually work. First of all, physically, maintaining a deep squat. I think there's a squat called horse stance, if I'm not mistaken, in other martial arts. And let me see if I can show it here. I don't have much room behind me. So the hands like this, but lower, right at waist level, with the chest expanded, and the legs like a horse, like you're riding a horse. Then bend the knees just to the point where it's the most difficult. So if you bend them a little, you can maintain that for a long time. If you bend them a lot, like a really, really, really deep squat, you can maintain that a long time. find the place where it's just killing you after even a minute or something. Find the altitude where your legs start shaking after a while. Maintain that. So that'll help you with your Aikido. Your base will get stronger. Footwork, kata. I put tape down on the floor. I've got a wood floor in my living room. I put tape, like it looked like an asterisk. And I wanted to find out, are my feet doing what I think they're doing? And believe it or not, I was surprised sometimes, oftentimes at first. So I put, first I put 2 strips of tape. So one this way and one at a 90-degree intersection from it, right? This way and this way, across. And then I filled in an X. So now I had this 90-degree one, and then I had this 90-degree one, which fit in 45-degree angles. If you've been watching my videos, you've probably noticed that I sometimes use shoto, or short sword. I find that it helps students drop their shoulders, stop pushing, and really feel the technique. Right now, I have a limited number of these Suzuki signature shoto available. They're made in Japan from premium Japanese white oak. They're engraved with my signature, and they're really beautifully balanced. Because of the lumber shortage in Japan, I was only able to get a small batch of them. So once these are gone, that's it for the time being. So if you'd like one, click the link below to reserve yours. During the checkout process, you'll be prompted to let me know which seminar you'll attend, and then I'll bring it right to you. Now let's get back to the video. And I also put in a 65-degree one. I wanted to know where my back foot was for hammi. I didn't want my back foot to be at a 90-degree angle from my front foot. Any of you who study Aikido, you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, then when you do tenkang, tenshin, tenkai, when you do these, take a look down afterwards. Stand on your tape, stand next to your tape. So, for example, left hammi. We'll put our left foot next to the tape. And then our right foot will be the back foot, and that'll be on the other side of the tape. And by tape, I'm saying like maybe this wide. American measurements, like 1.5 inches, 2 inches. So, back foot, right foot is on this side of the tape, left foot this side of the tape. Then do tenkai, tenshin, tenkang, and then look down at your feet and see where they are. And if you have that asterisk looking bunch of tape on your floor, then they'll need to be long, by the way. Like make the tape length like you probably need about 1.5 meters for each of them, maybe even 2 meters. Take a look down. In my experience, because I've done this with my students then when we came back after lockdown and we still had to keep the distance, we did some of this training. And a lot of my students were like, oh my gosh, I'm not doing what I thought I had been doing all these years, right? My feet aren't really doing what I wanted them to do. So this is really good work that you can do at home. So try these out. Also, of course, you can do shadow Aikido, like shadow boxing, shadow Aikido. You can pretend that an attacker's coming at you and just run through some techniques. Again, if you're in a setting where it's not really conducive to be flinging your arms around, still, if you can do just a little bit, if you're thinking of Ikkyo, for example, go like, you know, and this fires the neurons. Run through all the techniques with this. Also, you can use some weapons as tools. So I was really amazed during the lockdowns how some of my students, when we came back after the lockdowns, some of my beginner students were really good, like so much better at Nikkyo, at the Nikkyo pin than before the lockdowns. And what we did over and over was we used just a short sword. You see this is the short sword, a wakizashi. And we used the short sword and we pretended it was the partner's arm coming at us, attacking. And we practiced Ikkyo over and over and over. And then we also, they got so good at Nikkyo because we also did Nikkyo. We cut down and practiced letting it roll over the back of our thumbs. So I'll show it to you again. Advanced people, I think you already know what I'm showing, but beginner people, here. So we came back after COVID, and the people who before COVID were doing like this, and then they get it to here, and then they have to rearrange, right? Especially if you're a teacher, you know, like, oh yeah, there's some students I just can't get through to them on this. All the students who had been doing it that way, when we came back to in-person and they had been on the Zoom classes, they're like, they all had it. It was incredible. So you can use these, that's not weapons training. I wouldn't call that weapons training. So a lot of people thought, oh, during COVID we had to do weapons training, all these kata. You don't, but you can use these weapons as if they were the arm of the person attacking. Okay, we did a lot of shomanuchi stuff. Shomanuchi ikkyo, shomanuchi irimi nage, by using a weapon with the other hand. I mean, it's weird, but the other hand is bringing the weapon towards us. And then either irimi nage or ikkyo or nikkyo. We did sankyo as well. Okay, coming this way, sankyo, and then here. And you can stand on your asterisk made of tape and see what your feet are doing through that and maintain the posture and the expansion. So these are really, really helpful ways that you can make the most of your solo training. I wouldn't recommend trying to replicate resistance. I don't know, trying to do something to the wall or something. We didn't do that during COVID. I don't think that would have had much benefit. Avoid going fast through things. I mean, here you are with really no attacker. So it's the perfect time to really go slowly and really look at what you're doing. So again, in front of the mirror, or if you're on Zoom, in front of the camera, or invest in a projector and screen, take it slow and really see what the heck your body actually is doing. If it's doing exactly what you thought, what you wanted it to do, excellent. But sometimes it might not be doing that. Also, same as my belief for in-person training, don't just do a bazillion techniques. Do a few key techniques a whole bunch of times. Go really slowly through them. And do them over and over and over, maintaining zanshin so that you make reflexes. So first, really analyze it, be hard on yourself, like, I'm slouching again, or whatever. Then try doing it more and more and more and more and more fluidly so that you begin to make this new muscle memory or reflex. So here's an example. You could, and this is only like 10 minutes or so, you could start off with breathing, really being conscious of your breath, breathing deeply, imagining, again, this is maybe getting kind of out there, imagining the breath coming out not only your mouth and or nose, but also even out through your pores. It's a good image and a helpful image. Then you could also imagine, while you're doing the breathing exercise, you could imagine centering. You could imagine somebody grabbing your wrist and pushing. How would it feel? How would I center myself? Expansion up and down, and expansion this way. And then you can work on your footwork grid. I would recommend Tenkan, Tenkai, Tenshin. Just doing those over and over, maintaining the posture as you're doing them. Then you can move into Ikkyo. And do it, and do it, and do it, and do it. Look at yourself in the mirror. Make sure you're keeping your posture. Keep your chest expanded. Then move on to, for example, Shihonage. Katate dori Shihonage or Ryote dori Shihonage. Even the basic ones are really, really helpful. And then some sort of Kokyu Nage. Then You could work on your ukemi also. You can, for example, you could take a wakizashi or a shoto, and you could let it rise and fall as if to attack shōmanuchi. During COVID, we didn't really practice cuts, but we used the weapons in the movement, and that was really, really beneficial. You could cool down then in this example solo session of 10 minutes. You could cool down by doing suriashi. You could just walk around your space. Suri means slipping, sliding. Ashi is the foot or the leg. So during COVID, we did, in quite a number of classes, we practiced just sliding walking. The foot never leaves the tatami or the floor. Just sliding your feet, and you could hear it. And this can be a nice moving meditation. So, in conclusion, don't get me wrong, solo practice does not replace partner training, in-person training with physical contact with another living being. It does not replace it, but it can help it. So, please try some of these out, whether you're copying something in a video or whether you're just going on your own solo lesson. Try it out. Let me know in the comments how it goes. Let me know in the comments what techniques you did. Also, if you'd like to train in person, I'll be teaching a lot of seminars in 2026 all over the place. I'll be in Ireland, the UK, Japan, Taiwan, Los Angeles, Pennsylvania, various places in the US. I feel like I'm missing one destination right now. So go to leah-suzuki.com/seminars, and I'm really looking forward to training with you someday soon. All the best. Bye-bye.